need for speed, the hunger for power, the madness to win, and the desire to tame India's fastest motor beast is what the spectacle is all about. This is the country's biggest racing extravaganza. This is Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. Hello and welcome. It's a beautiful day. I'm Ankit, your host and co-passenger on this incredibly speedy experience called the Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. The Ameo Cup, a property that's put together by one of the world's leading car makers, Volkswagen, is specially designed to ensure that Indian race drivers get the right exposure and recognition on a global platform.
Volkswagen has done a tremendous job year on year. They really focus on getting new drivers in, nurturing them, making sure they're doing a really good job.
You know, for a lot of companies, it's quite a challenge, and it's quite a daring move, I would say, to commit to racing.
Volkswagen is one of the very few manufacturers who actually promote racing. It gives them great exposure, and it's not just about the racing. They get a lot of training.
Unfortunately, the only sport that has a culture in India is cricket, and people like us who are auto enthusiasts, we've been dying to see more manufacturers taking the initiative for motorcycles. There are a few, and at the moment Volkswagen is the only four-wheeler manufacturer taking the initiative and creating this kind of one-make championship.
I'm extremely thrilled to have with me Mr. Shirish Visa, and I think his team and he are doing incredible work in terms of evangelizing motorsport and car racing in India. Shirish, great to have you here.
My pleasure.
All right, so talk to me about the legacy and the history of motorsport and car racing for Volkswagen Motorsport, in India especially, because not many people know how they can go about this sport.
For us, it's more than just a marketing tool. It's also a way for us to improve our technology and test what we are going to launch in the future. When Volkswagen entered India in 2010, we needed to sort of differentiate our brand. And what better way to do it than with the characteristics that make our cars what they are, which is the fun to drive aspect, the safety aspect, and the reliability. So when we came in, we started off with the Polo Cup, with the Polo 1.6 litre TDI, which is the diesel. That was the first time anybody had ever seen a diesel car on the racetrack.
On a racetrack, exactly.
And nobody was sort of sure what would happen, but I think we proved everybody wrong that the diesel cars are as fun to drive as a petrol car. Then we used the TSI engine, which is the petrol power plant, turbocharged. So that came in along with the DSG box. We ran it first on the race program, and a year after we ran it is when the first of the Polo GT came out.
Right.
In addition to that, we are using this as a platform to build motorsport, to try and find the next great racing driver from the country.
Okay.
So every year we have 20 drivers approximately that come in our part of our program, and consistently over the last 8 years that we've been doing this, we've had fresh blood coming in. Guys that have never raced before, guys that have never thought about racing before. We've given them a platform for them to come in, get comfortable, and try and build a career out of it.
That's incredible. It's quite clear that Volkswagen has come a long way with its race-ready cars to promote motorsport in India and also provide young racers with facilities and opportunities like never before.
In the past, we found that there was a deficit or a delta between a grassroots level race series in India versus what it was abroad. And that is the reason why we have also upped our technology, and that's especially true with respect to the Ameo Cup car, because that has some really high-tech electronics in it. The engine is a lot more powerful, almost as competent with other race series. So automatically they're exposed to an environment which they would have to face abroad.
Although motorsport is a nascent sport in our country, its growth can easily be seen and felt by everybody.
India has a good racing history, and it dates way back to maybe the 50s or 60s.
We are still fairly nascent in terms of motorsport experience, but we are catching up really quickly. So there are multiple championships where drivers can get involved.
We have a few single-seater championships. We have really good touring car championships like the Volkswagen Ameo Cup. And earlier we didn't have an option of racing world-class cars at an Indian national level. But now, there is a variety of championships available for people from karting all the way up to, say, a Formula 1600.
Compared to international standards, though, I think there's still a lot to be done. We're hoping to see more corporates and governments, contributing to the sport.
Volkswagen Motorsport is one such brand that has passionately and tirelessly worked towards evangelizing motorsport in India since 2010.
So Volkswagen Motorsport started off in 2010 in India, and as Volkswagen we wanted to promote the diesel technology that we had. That time we also were able to get these racers to the Buddh circuit in Greater Noida, which being a Formula 1 track, they were exposed to what it is actually to race on such circuits, which was a big feather in a cap for us. Another thing was the domestic market had never seen spectators of 20,000 plus, which was something that Volkswagen brought to Indian motorsport. So through the years, we have developed not just in terms of technology, which is important to us, but we've been able to shape Indian motorsport as well with whatever we are getting to the market. And that is helping everyone, especially the rookies who don't know how to start with motorsport. We've been able to help those guys the most.
It's rightly said that speed begins where fear ends, and the incredible racers are already exhibiting how they've mastered their fear. It's time for a short break. Don't go anywhere, because on the other side, we're going to take a detailed look at the Volkswagen Ameo kitted out for the racetrack and understand the intricacies of the Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. It's absolutely nice and tight and snug in here.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
A lot of people have a misconception about, I would say, sport in general. They think they drive well. And again, that driving fast is only a misconception that they have. They've not really seen somebody else drive fast, so they don't know where they stand.
Welcome back. You're watching Pits to Podium, and it's now time to take a look at the racetrack-ready Volkswagen Ameo, the car of the hour. The Volkswagen Ameo is one of the best and most successful examples of the ongoing Make in India campaign. It is completely designed and engineered by Volkswagen Motorsport India team, and this also becomes the first fully indigenously racetrack-ready car built at their Pune manufacturing plant. To find out more about the race car and the star of the hour, the Ameo, we've got Shirish Vissa with us. So talk to us about the racetrack-ready Ameo.
This is sort of the first made for India, made in India race car. So when we started with this, we basically take the body shell as it is produced in the factory, goes through all of the normal process, comes out, and normally it goes through like an anti-corrosion dip.
Right.
So the minute it goes out of the anti-corrosion dip, my guys go in there and hijack the body shell. And so what we do is we take the body shell back, and then we strengthen it, because one of the things for us is safety, the biggest thing for us. So we strengthen the body shell by welding all of the joints, all the seams, to make it a little bit more stiff and rigid.
Okay.
Then we weld in the roll cage that you see over there, and that's the base from which everything else is done.
Absolutely.
So the most important thing with this car is what's under the bonnet.
What's under the hood? Should we pop the hood?
Oh, why not? You know the Polo GTI that we just launched last year?
Right, the 1.8.
Exactly, that's the same engine.
Okay.
So we've got the GTI version of the Ameo, but unlike the Polo GTI, this car is running a completely race spec electronic system.
Okay.
Because we are able to manage the engine better, we are getting 202 odd horsepower out of it.
Wow.
And this is being very conservative, by the way.
Is that so? What can you clock it up to?
I think we can get up to around 300 with this engine.
Whoa, that will be crazy.
So we've got the engine, and in addition to the engine, we've got a 3MO race spec gearbox, which is a 6-speed sequential gearbox. A sequential is like a motorcycle. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all in one line. And it's much quicker, much better for racing. And in addition to the gearbox itself, we've got an electromagnetic actuator over there which does the shifting for you. So you just click on the paddles on the steering wheel and the computer takes over and does the shifting for you. So we spent a lot of time and effort actually trying to get everything to fit in here, because it's not easy, because the engine wasn't meant for this car, the gearbox wasn't meant for this car, and we had to make it all and put it all together.
After a thorough analysis of the engine and the exterior of the car, it is now time to check out the interiors of the Ameo. Okay, so Shirish, it's absolutely nice and tight and snug in here.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
So tell me, what is the logic behind stripping it off everything?
For sure. So first thing is, when we are preparing a car for racing, we take out all the non-essential stuff.
Like so no glove box.
No glove box, no AC.
Oh God, yeah.
No carpeting. There are two reasons for that. One is basically we are preparing the car in case of an accident, that it should be very safe. So we don't want anything that could get in the way of the driver getting out, or for the safety workers to get in and do anything.
It also helps reduce the weight.
Oh, absolutely, because we want to make sure that the car is as light as possible, because the power to weight ratio is what gives us that acceleration.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so talk to me about the equipment, Shirish.
Okay, first of all, I'll start off with the seats.
Yep.
This is a purpose-built seat for racing, made by OMP, which is an Italian company. They've been providing safety equipment now from the 70s.
Wow.
All our equipment, if you notice, we keep using the word FIA certified.
Right.
So what that means is there is an international governing body for motorsport, and they have standards that they've set for all the safety equipment, bare minimum standards. So that means that the safety stuff that you see in the Ameo Cup car in India will be exactly the same as what you will see anywhere else in the world.
Oh, wow.
So our focus is always on safety. Then you've got your seat belts over here. They come over your shoulder. This is a 6-point seat belt that we use, because there are 6 different points in which the belts are anchored to the chassis.
Okay.
2 belts that go over the shoulder,
Right.
2 that go across your hips,
Right.
and 1 that comes up from between your legs to keep you from sliding underneath. So we've got the seat belts, we've got the seats. Then in addition to that, this thing is like a skeleton. We are not worried too much about the car, because cars are replaceable.
Right.
We're worried about the driver and the security and safety of the driver.
Right.
And also, in addition to just being there for the impact side of it, it also improves the stiffness of the car, which makes the car behave that much better when they're driving it on a racetrack.
That's incredibly helpful. After that enlightening session about the car, it is time to meet the maverick responsible for the training of these talented racers. Indian motorsport veteran and 8 times Formula and go-karting winner, Ryomen Banerjee.
Whether it is with respect to their driving styles, the coaching, even with respect to their discipline, Rio keeps a tight watch on them, and we've seen in the past that some of the rookies who've had no experience in racing follow his advice and get podiums in the same year.
It's fantastic to have Rio with us, who is a motorsports maverick in India, and I can't think of a better mentor for the Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017 than Rio himself. So talk to us about the Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. It clearly falls within the circuit or the track race category. How important is this segment of cars on the track with the Ameo Cup?
Accessibility is a little difficult for a person when they want to start off in motorsport. the next hurdle for them is how it's quite a daunting task for a person to start off with. Where do you get your car from? How do you manage your car? How do you do everything? So that's what Volkswagen simplified, where you come to one point and everything is provided for you. You just literally carry your own helmet and overalls and gloves and you come over there and everything else is provided for you.
It sounds like a dream. There is an incredible amount of education that you impart along with your team members. Talk to us about that.
A lot of people have a misconception about, I would say, sport in general. They drive well, they think they drive well, and yeah, they have the guts to go at maybe 140 kilometers an hour on a road when your speed limit is only 80 or 100.
So they equate driving well with driving fast.
Yes. And
which is not entirely...
Not true at all under any circumstances. And again, that driving fast is only a misconception that they have. They've not really seen somebody else drive fast, so they don't know where they stand.
Okay.
And they think that they can be a successful racer just because they have those skills of going fast, which is pressing the accelerator. When they come here, they realize that life is very different. And I wouldn't say more than any sport, but actually as compared to any other sport, if you want to be successful, it's maybe 10 different things put together. Primarily is your attitude and the amount of hard work that you put in.
Right.
And the preparation that goes in. So a lot of them come in with thinking, like I said earlier, you can just come press the accelerator cable and
expectations.
And you know, they're going to be quick. For example, we've had them come to a new track and they've not thought about how many corners are there on the track. They've not thought about which corner comes next after which corner. And, oh, we can drive fast, we'll be quick, you know. And it doesn't work that way.
All right. All things said, I think it's going to be an incredibly exciting championship, obviously under the mentorship of Rio and the entire team at Volkswagen Motorsport India.
So we will look at the top few people going abroad for our driver exchange program, whether it's with China or South Africa.
My main motivation to do this championship is Ameo car.
It is an animal basically. You cannot compare it to your road car.
Welcome back, you're watching Pits to Podium and we're gearing up for the first leg of races of the Volkswagen Cup 2017.
Volkswagen works on the philosophy of exponential growth. Every year it gets bigger, better and crazier. Let's now quickly understand the framework of this year's contest.
Our championship consists of 3 categories of drivers, a junior, a pro and a senior. And the junior guys are guys who have never raced before. Seniors are people who have had racing experience but are under the age of 26. And the seniors are guys who are above 26. I say guys because unfortunately we don't have any women drivers in the championship this year. We would love to see more women. So girls, if you're watching, come and join us. So we've got these 3 categories of the championship. And the way the winner is decided is based on points, starting with the most number of points for the winner and going down. So at the end of the year, out of the 10 races, you're allowed to drop your worst point scoring race. We then total up the points and whoever has the maximum number of points is crowned the winner.
The Junior Cup winner will get a free seat in our race series the next year, and the Pro category winner, or let's say the overall winner, will get a free seat in the MRF 1600s, which is a single-seater running parallelly with us. And also we will look at the top few people going abroad for our driver exchange program, whether it's with China or South Africa. So there's a lot actually that the drivers can get for themselves.
Isn't it absolutely incredible what Indian ingenuity and engineers can create? Well, we've seen the racetrack ready Ameo. Now let's take a look at the racers that are going to tame this beast on the track.
The Ameo Cup car feels fabulous. I think it's more professional, it's more race spec. To put it in the right words, I think it's more hardcore.
The car is pretty fantastic to drive. I mean, it is a proper race car. It is an animal basically. You cannot compare it to your road car.
My main motivation to do this championship is the Ameo car. I mean, I saw some videos of them testing it pre-season and I was like, damn, I have to drive it.
It gives the driver more opportunities to try his way around and to fight with the car and at the same time know it better.
It's a little bit faster than last year's car. It's very safe and it's not that difficult to drive. So it's very good for newcomers to come and try this out.
The car is obviously very fast. It has a bigger engine.
The car is really quick and yeah, it's easy to control. It has power steerings. It's easy for a beginner. The safety is up to mark. It's up to our current international standard. The car itself is very safe, and of course with the race safety, it just makes the car very safe for our drivers to drive and race.
There seems to be a lot of excitement in the air for the Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. Let's find out what's actually in store in the coming weeks for all of us.
It's going to be really exciting, really competitive, and we have a real good bunch of newcomers who have absolutely no motorsport experience. So that is going to provide for some interesting moments. You're definitely going to see some exciting crashes. Fortunately, our cars are built really strong and are really safe. The safety systems are as good as anywhere else in the world, and hopefully we're not going to see any driver getting hurt. But do expect some crashes, do expect some excellent racing because they are going to be close to each other.
There's a lot of hard work which goes behind the scenes like any other sport would have. There's a lot of preparation the drivers need to go through, not just in terms of their driving skill, but in terms of their fitness, their mental strength, and all of these parameters, all of it plays together to actually be able to race faster. It's not just about the machinery, it's more important how the driver is. So people will understand that a lot more. They will obviously be able to see good racing, which our cars are providing, and yeah, so I hope the season really pans out well for all of them, and it's quite exciting.
We're going to meet our top racers and get to know them much better very soon. But for now, it's time to say goodbye on the first episode of Pits to Podium. But it is going to be a brand new day as we get you all the thrilling adventure and behind-the-scene coverage from Volkswagen Ameo Cup 2017. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with some food for thought. A legendary quote by one of my favoritist racers, Mario Andretti, who says, if you've got everything under control, maybe you're not going fast enough.
My name is Karbinder Singh and I'm 23 years old.
I'm from Chennai and I've been racing for about 7-8 years now.
I'm competition number 7.
Fitness is one aspect that many racing drivers tend to neglect because when they start off they don't realize it's important.
Practice is really important for us.
We get to try out different tire pressures, different roll bar settings.
You do all your analysis, all your experimenting over there, figure it out by qualifying and go for the race.